What if all the seawater becomes freshwater? Imagine that the world would have unlimited fresh water supply. Instead of salt water, all the oceans would consist of actual drinkable water. Now, don't you dare rush to the beach and take a sip with a plastic cup. It's only for this video. For now. Wink wink. What if we didn't have to worry about global water consumption? What if you could shower all you want? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Epictainment show, and here is what if all the seawater becomes freshwater. A world without salt water could be a blessing to mankind, but at what cost? Today we are going to dive deep into these questions. Don't forget to leave a like and click the subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell and get instant notice whenever we upload fresh content. So, are you ready? Let's go. Most species, including humans, would not survive for long. Yes, I'm talking for real, guys. Shocking, right? I will explain in this video. Let us start with this question. Why are the seas and oceans salty? Well, they weren't always like that. When the Earth's surface finally cooled enough about 3.8 billion years ago so that water vapor was turned to liquid, there was nothing but the bubbling, unobstructed, purest form of water imaginable. Yes, actually long ago, all the water on Earth was fresh water. However, this didn't take long. The universe would sooner or later impose its will. The climate cycle begins shortly after the planet cools. When it rains, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere dissolves in the falling water, making this rain slightly acidic. When it rains, the stones crumble. From there, rainwater flows into nearby rivers and streams, carrying loose and insoluble salts and minerals. This runoff ends up in larger bodies of water, seas and oceans. In addition, more salt and minerals were released from hydrothermal springs and underwater volcanoes. Now imagine that this whole process has been going on for over 3.8 billion years. That's as much salt as you can imagine. In fact, salt is so abundant in oceans that if it were to spread across the landmass of the Earth, it would form a layer of salt up to 40 levels high. No wonder 97% of the world's water is salty. Freshwater sea, blessing or curse? With our current water consumption, global demand for clean water is doubling every 20 years. This will result in a third of the world losing fresh water by 2025. With statistics like this, the idea of a freshwater ocean sounds less like a privilege than an urgent need. However, a saltless ocean would destroy marine life and drastically affect our global temperature and weather, which would make human life on Earth very complex. Let's talk about marine life. There are about 230,000 known marine species in the ocean and about 2 million others yet to be discovered. But if the oceans were desalted, we would most likely never find this new form of life. The most severely affected marine organisms are plankton and phytoplankton, which are the basis of all marine life. Saltwater fish have evolved and adapted to salty conditions by drinking salt water to stay hydrated and pumping out excess salt to get rid of it. Other fish, such as salmon, have adapted to both freshwater and saltwater, but are one in 1,000 species with this ability. On a large scale, all saltwater species will die. What about plant life? Apart from marine animals, marine plants will also be affected. Underwater algae make up almost half of the plant's photosynthesis. Photosynthesis plays an important role in supplying our planet with food and oxygen, namely by converting carbon dioxide from the atmosphere into the basic oxygen needed for breathing. Without algae, we would not only get less oxygen, but we would have more carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. With much less photosynthesis and highly unstable climatic conditions, our world will no longer maintain its current plant diversity. The food chain itself will collapse. Most species, including humans, will not last long. World weather would be badly affected. This increase in greenhouse effect will make some parts of the world very hot. This will be most noticeable at the equator, as our ocean's currents no longer circulate hot water and air currents as before. Convection currents move warm water from the equator to the far north, while cooler water from the north cools hotter areas to the south. At the equator, warmer water can carry more salt as solvent solubility increases with temperature, causing denser water to sink at shallower depths while cooler waters flow from above. In the far north, the water cools enough to freeze and form sea ice. When the water freezes, the salt is left behind, and this naturally makes cold water in the north much denser, sinking it deeper and making way from the warmer water in from the south. Without salt, this whole balance and complex process breaks down. First of all, hurricanes are becoming more frequent and more deadly. In general, our weather and climate will be very different from what we are experiencing now. Luckily, you won't last long enough to see all the rage of global time. Either you freeze to death at the poles or overheat at the equator. You die from natural disaster, or you starve to live in a world without plants or marine biology. It's funny when you think about it. What we want is a world without a water crisis, where fresh water is as abundant as grains of sand. However, now that you know the consequences of such a change in saline solution, you may not be begging to end salt water anytime soon. What do you think about this situation? Let us know in the comment section. According to us, salty water is a blessing in disguise. Subscribe to the Epictainment show and give this video a big thumbs up. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.